Welcome to the Real Journey of the Entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. It's my own, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
Welcome to our fourth annual Full Circle Business Project.
This room is small enough but big enough that you can connect with someone. And that is the intention of the Full Circle Business Brunch experience. Being in business is not a competition. We all can win at all levels.
We come from a lot of poverty. How do you break out of a scarcity mindset as a small business?
If you keep it positive, positive will always keep you. The idea that I'm always broke, I never have enough money. You can easily say, I don't have enough money yet. And that changes how you then move forward with your next financial decision.
I'm here to help educate you all on things that you may not have known about, because we find that there's a lot of suffering that goes on when people don't know about stuff.
When you're entering into a business relationship, it's still a relationship. So you want to maintain a good rapport with whoever it is that you're transacting with. You're hiring an attorney to not only protect you, but to also be the bad guy in certain situations.
We can help you connect to people who are looking for jobs. We have 200,000 people in our job bank. We're here to help the businesses out there who are doing really the heavy lifting in our economy.
This is my fourth time attending this event. Each year it gets better and better. And it's really inspiring to see what she's doing for the community and working with the youth.
Why I wanted to start my business is because my mom was working too hard, right? I want to have my own business, my own clothing to wear on the street.
This is an amazing event with lots of knowledge for business owners, business starters, and just who's thinking about getting in the industry. Hope this continues to be an annual event for those who want to learn more about business and get into the business space.
Thank you for being a part of this transformational experience.
A brighter day tomorrow will bring. Oh.
I'm back, people. I am back. Welcome to another episode of The Real Journey of Entrepreneurship. My name is Anita Pearson. I am your host, producer, founder, and also the CEO of 11375. And I want to tell you that there's a lot happening, but I hope that you are able to find some joy, nourishment, love, peace throughout this whole process, right? Because I'm going to tell you, guess what? I am not alone, and that I have an opportunity to be able to share this time and space with others who I am learning to love. This show with the Real Journey of Entrepreneurship dives into founders who build purposeful, passion, and a little bit of grit, right? But also not just grit, but also just trying out new things. And today's episode is going to be a very, very sweet one. Literally, right? Literally. I cannot wait to connect the dots on the video that you just saw, which is our 4th annual Full Circle Business Brunch, an annual event where we bring entrepreneurs together to share resources and connect them to their business needs. And my next guest was one of the vendors, so surprise vendors that was there. And I'm going to tell you a little story about what happened in the midst of all the madness of that day. So Nicole, who is the founder of Cookie Justice, a plant-based cookie business and new development for Nicole, was at the Full Circle Business Brunch this year. And I can tell you that in between our breaks, we would go and the folks who were in attendance would go to the vendors who were there. And I kept getting, "Did you taste the cookie?" And I'm like, "What cookie?" Like it was so much going on that I didn't make the connection that Cookie Justice was actually a vendor that brought sweet treats, right? So my little self mosey on around to the tables, because I was running around, but I finally got to Nicole's table and there was like no more cookies left. And I think she probably had like a stash somewhere. And I wound up getting a piece of this cookie. And Nicole, let me tell you, I know she ain't come on yet. The cookie was delicious then. But then I'm going to make you some cookies for your birthday. So, right, I am in the celebratory 50th going into this year with a bang. And guess what? Guess what, family? I got my cookies, and I'm going to do a public apology to my child because there was more than just peanut butter cookies in here. And so my bad. They were for me. But I'm going to share just a few of the cookies that remain. This one is peanut butter, and this one is a combination that I'm not even going to describe. I'm going to let Nicole tell the story behind this specific pistachio goodness. But anyway, enough about the cookies. Let me just bring Nicole. Nicole is a native New Yorker, a self-proclaimed foodie. Nicole grew up baking alongside her grandmother, who convinced her, rightfully so, that she was the world's best baker. And she was right, because I've had these cookies and I've been low-key like snacking. Like when you got kids, you gotta hide stuff. But that's a whole nother story. Nicole will be probably tired of me telling me about how I hid and I sinned against my child by telling a fib. But these cookies are mine. They were for me. And what began as a family passion is beginning to blossom into something that could be repurposed into a thriving side business. And it blends all of the creativity, all the goodness. And I don't want to keep Nicole to myself. So I'm going to just bring Nicole up. Nicole, come to the stage.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, Anita. How are you?
I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the cookies, and I've been hiding them. So I'm in trouble. That's okay. So I'm so glad to have you here, Nicole. I am so excited to learn more about your passion. So before we launch into all the goodness, tell us about who you are, what you do, and what is something that people will find interesting about who you are in your bio.
So, as you said, my name is Nicole Fox. I am a native New Yorker. I grew up, born and raised in Queens. Have lived in Brooklyn for about 13 years and currently live in the Bronx. right now. What do I do? So I have a legal background, which we could get into, which is why Cookie Justice is named Cookie Justice. But as you said, I'm a self-proclaimed foodie who has grown up always loving to cook and bake and all things food. Go to, try new restaurants, all things food. So I have a legal background. I never really officially practiced law, but am involved in a non-traditional legal career, and love baking and traveling, being a dog mom. Yeah.
Oh, so the dog began all the goodness, huh? All right. All right. So tell us about your early memories, like really discovering baking. What does that look like early on for you?
So for me, the earliest memories that I have, and now this is gonna show my age, but was like having the Holly Hobby oven with the that one light bulb in the back and the little tin where you make the mix and put it in and then put it in the oven. So I had that. But I think what really got me into cooking was my grandmother. She was sick. She had a stroke. She had a stroke for most of my life. I've known her, to have had a stroke. And so my dad would always, every weekend, he would go pick her up and bring her to our house for Sunday dinner. And my mom would make, whatever she wanted. But during the week, she would call the house and say, what is your mom making for dinner? And I'd say, okay, whatever you want, you got to put in your order. And part of those orders, she would always ask for a cake. She'd be like, you're going to bake me a cake, right? And I said, of course. And back then I wasn't making cakes from scratch. It was like the box cakes and everything. But it was the most important thing for me to make this cake for my grandmother every week. And I was young. So I had no patience. I still don't really have patience, but I would do the box cake. I'm sure there were some eggshells in there. I could never wait for it to completely cool properly. So when I did the layers, they were all lopsided and sliding off, one another. But I would present it to her after our Sunday dinner, and she always made me feel like those cakes were the best cakes in the world. She ate every bite of it. She would take some home. And not to say that my parents and my sisters didn't support, but they were always like side-eyeing, like, this cake was not, like, this was nasty, but my grandmother, would continue to call, like, you're going to make me a cake. What kind of cake are you making? Every single week. And like I said, she just made me feel like they were the best thing in the world. And so, as I got older, I decided I wanted to try things from scratch and not do the box cakes. And no matter what I made, she said it was delicious. So she gave me the drive to keep going and working on this skill.
I want to tell you how important what your grandmother did for you. I'm sure but it's, having a daughter, I'm reflecting on by what you just shared about the importance of always encouraging, those alternative things like cooking, baking, crafting, and, giving the inspiration of you're going to still be good, right? But you just got to keep practicing. That's what I heard, right? You got to continue to practice your craft, just continue to do it. But that self-love and that warmness, like, it goes a long way. And she was right, because, she was right. And I have to tell you, like, this is not, I just remember during the brunch, I kept getting, did you get the cookie? I'm like, what I'm like, and mind you, no one shared anything with me. I only got, I think you had like one cookie from somewhere that you had left, and you had shared it with me. And I was like, my goodness, now I understand. But Nicole, where did the name Cookie Justice come from? It has a strong, memorable brand. Like, how did you decide? What's the story and what's the meaning behind Cookie Justice?
So, as I said, I have a legal background. I went to law school, and back then, right, when I was in college, high school, college, thinking about what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, cooking, it was never a thing. Like that was just something that I liked to do, right? So back then, the thought of being a chef or baker, as like doing that as a career goal, wasn't, nobody was talking about that like we talk about it now. We have celebrity chefs now, we have cooking shows and everything. Like going to culinary school is a huge thing. So for me, back then it was, I got to go to law school. I'm going to become a lawyer. I'm going to work in the legal profession. So for a long time, I associated, I guess, my legal background as who I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the cookie and the baking part of it is a passion. And so when I was thinking about what I wanted to name my business, I wanted to have meaning. I wanted it to be a part of who I am. And so I put together my passion and my career and came up with Cookie Justice.
All right. So now you know what I'm going to ask next, right?
What's that?
So your story, right? And I'm going to share for those who are going to be watching, online, your website, so that they could see all of the cookies,
Mm-hmm.
probably that I all had. And I'm telling you that they were so delicious. And this one is the one I wanted to lean into, the pistachio versus lemon, a case for cardamom, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that you can combine the two and it just tastes so delicious, right? All of them were good, but that one specifically stood out because it had like this, what I call lemon zestiness, punchiness to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we were talking previously, you said some other stuff about it, right? You want to share without giving away all your trade secrets, right? Because I know people going to be, what's in it, blah, blah, blah. It's really delicious. But also, your products are plant-based.
Yes. All of the cookies are plant-based. And so the story behind that is back in 2019, I was going through experiencing some health issues and decided to change my diet, right? And so I went full steam ahead into becoming a vegan. And as part of that process, I was going out to new cafes and restaurants, and a lot of the cafes that I was going to would offer a chocolate chip cookie, plant-based vegan chocolate chip cookie as dessert, or instead of a bag of chips, you can do a chocolate chip cookie.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm being honest, I didn't like any of them, and I was just like, these are gross. Like, why can't a vegan chocolate chip cookie taste good?
Right.
And I was just like, I'm gonna play around and see if I can just make a better cookie, because it doesn't make sense for me to be paying this money, at these cafes and restaurants for a chocolate chip cookie just because I want something sweet after my meal and it doesn't taste good. And so I started playing around with different recipes and seeing what I could come up with. And that's truly how Cookie Justice was born. When I finally created what I thought was a good chocolate chip cookie, I would share it with friends and family, not tell them that it was plant-based. Mm-hmm. And they were like, oh, this is really good. And I say, oh, by the way, it's vegan. It's plant-based. And they were like, you can't tell. You have something here. You need to do something with this. And then people started asking, well, can you make me, some of the chocolate chip cookies? And then, once I got the chocolate chip cookie down, I was like, well, I want to do other flavors. And so, yeah, that's why they're all plant-based. full disclosure, I am no longer 100% vegan. I'm now, I guess, flexitarian, so I eat mostly plant-based, but do include mostly fish in my diet now, just because I, health-wise, I need to get more protein in. But the cookies are 100% plant-based.
So I'm gonna tag my favorite vegan on Instagram, Pinky Cole.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Who runs Slutty Vegan. So I'm gonna put a
Yeah.
tag on there because like I know that that's a part of her process. But the cookies, you can't tell, right? And I had to like in reading, like doing some research, I'm like, this is, I don't want to say it's not possible to have
Mhm.
vegan food taste this good, because to your point, sometimes when you are transitioning or it depending on who's cooking it, right? And who's putting the season in it, it doesn't always taste that great. But I'm glad these taste good. And now I can indulge again now that we've seen each other again virtually. So I wanted to just share, like, because you have a number of, is it seasonal? Because I know that you have, some products that are standard, but are there some that you are continuously popping in? What does that look like for your decision process as to the cookies that we will have?
So I'm still figuring that out, but the pistachio versus lemon, a case for cardamom, started out being a seasonal cookie, right? That was the cookie that I developed. It was going to be for the fall because, as I said to you when we, spoke before, I don't like pumpkin spice. I don't like pumpkin spice at all. And everybody does pumpkin spice for the fall season, right? And I thought about, okay, well, let me offer my customers a pumpkin spice cookie. But I felt like that's not me. I don't like it. And I don't feel comfortable asking people to do or eat anything that I wouldn't do or eat myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what I like. And pistachios are my favorite nuts. Probably, yeah, it's between pistachios and cashews. But anyway, I love pistachios. And I love cardamom as a spice. I love like the chai spices, cardamom, nutmeg, cinnamon. And so I was like, let me play around, see what I can do. And I came up with that cookie. But again, it was supposed to be a seasonal cookie, but so many people love that cookie. Like out of that, people have come back to me and be like, oh my goodness, I love this cookie. So I'm thinking about keeping that one around as a permanent menu item or selection on the site.
And so this is why this is so I love the stage where you are, right? Because you are allowing us your data to provide you with feedback, right? So I also appreciate it. Although the pistachio and lemon they were all good, but that one like really stood out to me. It was really good, and I'm gonna get some more. Like I have to order some more. But even with your chocolate chip cookie, right? It had, and I'm not really like a salt person. And when I think of chocolate chip, I'm going, oh, it has like, it has like a sweet salty. Like, and that was, I don't know, because when I think about the cookies, it's either all sweet. There isn't like a taste variation as I'm eating it, and it's either sweet or salty. And I'm not really like so I thought. I didn't think I was not a salty sweet person until I had the combination. So even through all of that, you are allowing us to test your product. But I'm curious, have you done anything that hasn't gone as you thought it as planned? Like there's something you was like, oh, I'm gonna try something, and then you're like, oh no.
Oh yeah, for sure. So the first version of the peanut butter cookie was an epic fail. And I had to go back, and it was just a matter of, again, I don't want to give away too many secrets, but it was a matter of changing the type of peanut butter that I was using in the cookie. What I started out with initially, and I thought was going to be a great idea, was not. And so I had to, keep trying. The other one that took some time is the butter crunch one, or the toffee one, because I actually make the toffee from scratch. That's not a store-bought toffee. And so toffee was not something that I had, a lot of experience making before. So it took a few tries to get the toffee recipe right enough to then incorporate it into the cookie.
All right. So let's talk about this idea of you have a legal background and you work.
Yes.
And you're doing this joy project, right? Mm-hmm. That you're working on through Cookie Justice. How do you manage both and being a dog mom?
So again, that's something that took a lot of trial and error, right? So as more people started putting in orders for Cookie Justice, it became, how am I going to bake all these cookies, as you said, when I still have a full-time job? And so that's where I had to really think about setting, like, ordering deadlines and my shipping schedule. So the way it is right now is you place an order. The deadline is 11:59 on Friday. So that gives me time to get all the orders in that week. And then I bake on the weekends for whatever orders that I have. That way I'm not killing myself trying to bake during the week while I'm also trying to juggle my full-time job and other responsibilities and get orders out. Because I feel like both in, Cookie Justice life and my not regular 9-to-5 life, it's all about managing people's expectations, right? So like I said, I just wanted to make sure that, up front, if people are ordering cookies, that this is when they're going to go out, so that I can, give my full attention to baking cookies and getting the orders out. And then during the rest of the time, I can focus on my 9-to-5 job.
So it's so beautiful how you set systems in place, right, that help you to be successful. A lot of times I can tell you that entrepreneurship can be a ride. It's a roller coaster. And if you do not have systems in place, whether it's setting deadlines, ordering deadlines, whether it's how do you manage client expectations, how are you going to be responsive or not? How do they order? Is it online? Do you place phone calls? Those type of things are super important. So I'm glad that you mentioned that we need to get our orders in every Friday at 11:59, or else. I don't want to hear that you didn't hear the deadline, because Nicole gracefully mentioned the deadline. So let's talk about what success looks like for you in this space as you are developing and testing and getting client feedback. What does that look like for you?
That's a really good question. And at this phase, I don't know that I have an answer. Mm-hmm. I would like to have obviously I want to build up my customer base so that I have a regular influx of orders every week. Manageable, right? And then I would like to see myself branch out into doing like some farmers markets, just some more regular events for Cookie Justice. I think eventually, well, I guess I said I didn't know. I guess I do know. Eventually, I would love to, I would love to see Cookie Justice in maybe not like large stores, but like, you know, picked up by like a local cafe, you know, like a Cookie Justice exclusively sold here, maybe a partnership with a local coffee shop or cafe. So yeah, I think for right now, that's what success looks like for me. But I'm still figuring it out as Cookie Justice grows.
Well, I'm hoping that you blow up to insanity, because you know it's really one of those things where, like, you're from New York, so you can't eat everyone's potato salad, everyone's cooking. There's certain you can't, you just can't, and it's not just a New York thing. It's a cultural thing. It's like, who made the potato salad? If we see raisins in it, it's problematic, right? Automatically, it's problematic. We don't want it. So having and sharing and getting feedback. Have you gotten feedback that caused you to shift your process or one of your recipes as of yet?
Feedback. Not really. I've gotten feedback in terms, not necessarily in terms of changing like a recipe, but I've gotten feedback in terms of like how to build out the website. I've gotten feedback about, I'm not a big social media person, so I've gotten feedback about, you know, how to build the brand on social media and developing an IG page. And I'm getting better about, you know, posting on Cookie Justice's Instagram page. But that takes effort on my part. But I've gotten a lot of feedback, you know, on those things, but not necessarily in terms of like changing a recipe. I will say that one thing that I'm very aware of, because it's so close to home, is my sister's allergic to nuts. So is my godson. So while I do offer cookies that have nuts in them, one thing that I'm very careful and conscious about is, you know, like not using the same utensils when I'm doing, or, you know, changing my gloves, because I do wear gloves when I make the cookies, and, you know, not putting the chocolate chip with walnut cookies on the same cookie sheet as the regular chocolate chip. So yeah, I'm very, very aware and conscious about that. And so maybe some of that, like I said, that's close to home, but feedback about, you know, people's personal allergies and things of that nature.
So are there any lessons that you've learned thus far personally about yourself entering into this space of entrepreneurship?
I think the biggest lesson for me has been, sometimes you just have to do it, right? So like maybe not Cookie Justice as it is today, but just the idea of it has been in my mind for a long time. But I am very much a planner, and I think because of my legal background, for me, it's important for me to have all my I's dotted and T's crossed before going through with doing something, right? So I was like, oh, well, I can't sell cookies to anyone because I don't have this license with, you know, yet, or, you know, I didn't go to culinary school, so who's going to buy cookies from me because I'm not an official baker. But again, from, you know, my friends and family, people that are close to me, that I've shared with, they're like, just do it. It doesn't have to be, you could figure those things out as you go. Just do it. And so I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned throughout this process. Everything doesn't have to be perfect in order for me to take this journey. Like, I can do all the things as I go.
I received that. You're not striving for perfection. You're striving for consistency in getting yourself out there. So I received that for myself. So I have another question.
Yes.
So, and I'm curious about, because there's always a financial aspect when you are thinking about starting a business, how do you manage that, your cost, when you are baking, getting large orders? What does that look like for your process at the moment?
At the moment, it's a lot of handwritten notes and Excel spreadsheets that I'm working with. I had to really think about how to price my cookies to make sure, and that's something that I've struggled with, because I didn't want to turn people away by charging too much, but also I needed to figure out, it had to be beneficial for me when I'm buying all of these ingredients. And then, another decision that I made is that I'm only shipping right now to within New York City and Westchester County, just because the cost of shipping is so much. And I didn't necessarily want to transfer the cost of shipping 100% on the customer, but I couldn't absorb it all myself either.
Right.
So just, just trying to be very careful. Like I said, using a lot of Excel spreadsheets, and a lot of handwritten notes with, how much ingredients cost versus how much it costs me to make this batch versus this batch. So yeah.
So you mentioned pricing is really important, but I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper, if you allow me to do so, about the concern about pricing.
Mhm.
That hits all of us when we're just starting, and questions about who, what, where we're going to show up. How did you honestly resolve that? Like, yeah, so looking at, your numbers, the cost of the actual products that you would need to bake, but how did you really resolve that internally? Because I'm always curious about what that internal, like, okay, I will be able to charge X for this market. How did you yourself resolve that?
I don't know that I have resolved it, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm still figuring that out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not something that I've, like, I think right now, for where the business is, they're priced okay, but I think as it grows and as I am doing, like, baking more and more, we might have to revisit that again.
And your comfort level is gonna, it's like, it always gets us internally first.
Yeah.
And I was just curious as to what, if you resolved it or haven't, or you're still walking through it, as you mentioned, but it's always like internal first, that we are dealing with, should I be charging this? What does that look like? But you also don't want to lose, because you're actually purchasing items to help you to produce your fabulous product.
Yeah, and like I said, for me, a lot of the internal struggle is I didn't go to culinary school, so I can't charge $10 a cookie. I didn't, I don't know, I don't have this license, so I can't do this, but as you said, when I'm buying these ingredients, they are plant-based. I'm buying the highest quality ingredients as well. Like, the organic flour, because that part of it is important to me. Now, I can't say that these cookies are healthy, right? Because they do have sugar and, in them, and plant-based butter, but I want the ingredients to be good, like of high quality. So those obviously cost a bit more. So like I said, I don't know that I have resolved that struggle in terms of pricing. I'm still definitely working through that part.
And so as we I'm about to get in your business just slightly as a dog mom.
Yes.
How do you and I know I asked about somewhat balance, and I don't really like to use that word, but more so about your travel and being a dog mom. Are any inspirations for your recipes come from your places that you've traveled or places that you walk with your baby? Like, how does that work for you in terms of like inspiration?
So definitely in terms of like places that I've traveled, and not necessarily like vacations, like going abroad and stuff, but just like I said, I'm a self-proclaimed foodie. So going out to various restaurants and tasting different flavors. I love spices, right? Like I always said after my first visit to the Bahamas, which was years ago, I always said I want to retire and be able to sell my personal spice mixes under a bridge that they have in the Bahamas, right? So I like I said, tasting different flavors, different foods, and saying, "Oh, I like this. Would this work in a cookie or cake or in a savory dish?" You know, because I don't just bake cookies. I like to cook savory dishes as well. So I think all of the cookies have been influenced by my travels and experiences.
Oh, so you cook. Okay, so you out here keeping secrets. What's your favorite dish outside of baking that you like to prepare?
There's not one. I couldn't there's not just one. I like to do like everything. Like I said, I will watch a cooking show on TV and immediately like it's be like, oh, I got to go out and get all those ingredients right now and try this dish. And then it's like, if it is, if it's not a vegan dish, although I'm not, like I said, I'm not 100% vegan right now, but it's like, can I make this a plant-based dish? Because I do eat plant-based probably 90% of the time, right? So how can I make this better? Or I don't like this. What can I substitute that for? Like, how can I make this dish my own? I get very excited about that stuff. I love going to local farmers markets on the weekend and, you know, looking at the fresh vegetables and trying new things. I get just very excited about that.
Okay, this is awesome. So as we wrap up, I told you it was going to go quickly. It goes very quickly. What advice would you offer other aspiring entrepreneurs who is interested in the culinary space and they don't have, you know, all of the things, right? Perceivably all the things that they're supposed to have, but they want to dive in. What's your recommendations?
I mean, as I said to you before, the biggest lesson for me is just do it. If you are passionate about it, if you keep thinking about it, if it's on your mind when you wake up, when you go to bed, just do it, right? What's the worst that can happen?
You get somebody greedy like me that want more they want more cookies. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I would say just go for it. And just try it. One step at a time. Just do one step at a time.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for sharing your story. But before I let you out of here, right? Part of the fun rapid questions comes from the Real Journey of Entrepreneurship is some rapid questions, right?
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Sneakers or heels?
Sneakers. 100%. Like I don't.
So no, I'm not doing it. The states where they made those.
My heel days are over. Yeah.
So, pizza or spaghetti?
Pizza.
Ice cream or smoothies?
Ice cream.
In 2 years, dose. What's coming next for Cookie Justice? What are you visioning and dreaming for Cookie Justice?
We're going to be big. Like you said, we're going to be big. We're gonna be big. Maybe some big grocery chain or something will pick us up, and you'll have Cookie Justice cookies available everywhere.
And I'm gonna be snacking, like I'm telling you. So for those who are watching, I want you to get the visuals. I'm going to show the remaining 2 cookies that I have left because there's only 2, friends, live and in person. And I have to tell you, I'm very grateful for the opportunity for you to be able to share your story and your sweetness with us. Cookie Justice is more than just a brand. It is a reminder that passion, purpose can really coexist if you have the courage, as Nicole said, to just do it. So you can find these fabulous products and make sure, friends, that you order by 11:59. Do not be inboxing me talking about I couldn't get in, I couldn't get the cookies. We have very specifics in order to manage the process of getting this deliciousness, and they're fresh baked. And so I am very honored to have had the opportunity to taste, more than, I'm like looking in the box to see if it's like extra in there, but I'm telling you, I'm these cookies like it's my last meal. I'm telling you, they're so delicious. So thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you.
You can find Nicole. You can check her out on Instagram and at cookiejustice.com. You can place an order again on Fridays at 11:59 p.m. Do not.
Well, you can place it up in any day up until Friday at 11:59. That's just when it cuts off for shipping on Monday or Tuesday.
Listen, just tell them to get it in beforehand, but we're being very specific and intentional. And we got to follow rules, right? Because you don't want to be talking about, I didn't get my cookies, or Anita swiped the cookies, which will probably be the case. But Nicole, thank you in abundance for joining the Real Journey of Entrepreneurship. We look forward to having you again when you are doing your pop-ups and all the phenomenal things that you're going to be visioning going forward. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been great. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you too. I'm about to look. I'm about to show everybody. Look. Cookie. Nicole gonna be sick of me. The cookie. Thank you so much. Take good care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Bye. So let me do this, right? So that you can get la, la, la. This is the cookie. This is the cookie. And I'm so glad like that Nicole was able to attend the Real Journey and participate today, but also the Full Circle Business Brunch that happened earlier this year and just made the experience extra sweet. So if you want more information about what Nicole has going on, check out cookiejustice.com. Nicole is on the social platform, so please check her out and also support, give feedback, when we're in this space and we are living out a part of our purpose and the dreams, we want feedback, honest feedback. So yes, there we go. So I want to also share that, 11375 has been very busy, very, very busy. We have an upcoming event that's coming up, which we hope that you are able to join us on Sunday, November 30th in the Bronx. I know I'm from Brooklyn, but we are engaging in the Health, Wellness, and Finance Summit for 2025 that we are going to help you transform yourself, your purpose for 2026. And it's in partnership with Solid Rock Church in the Bronx. So it is an event that we are offering to the community at no charge for you. And it is sponsored by the New York State Empire State Development Corporation. This program is generously sponsored by them. But we're in partnership with Solid Rock Church. They're going to be hosting us. And guess who's going to be there? I will be there, just providing some tools and resources along with my other speakers, James L. Motley and Jason McDonald, who are going to get us right with our health and provide us with some tools and resources connected to our finances. So that's one. But also, I wanted to also share that Wednesdays virtually, I know that we're in the space and we're going to start buckling down because the weather has shifted. Daylight savings time is here, but that doesn't mean that you cannot still build your business acumen. We had a workshop, recently, 2 workshops that covers, focusing in on government contracting within the state of New York. What does that look like? But our next session will be on December the 3rd, where we're going to be focusing in on developing a growth mindset that is specific to you, your habits, and redefining what that looks like for connecting strategies within your business. So we will have that virtually. They're lunch and learns, quick bites, so that you have the opportunity to be able to check in and check out, listen in on your lunch hour while you're snacking on Nicole's cookies and coming back to this space. So if you're interested, please don't hesitate. We have them. The link is on our website, on our social media platforms. And also, if you scan a QR code while you're watching, you can check it out there. But also finally, is I'm always looking to interview courageous individuals who are just beginning their journey, thinking about the journey of what entrepreneurship. So we would love to have you as a guest on the show. You can scan. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to us on our platforms, YouTube platforms, and also on social media at 11375. And so I am, again, super grateful. I had Nicole here who was giving us some goodness, talking about all the secrets, and her cookies are plant-based. So don't forget to check out Cookie Justice at cookiejustice.com. And so guess what, friends? Guess what? I'll see you next time. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you for joining another episode of the Real Journey of Entrepreneurship. Please do not forget to like, share, and follow us on the platforms at 11375. I thank you for joining. Take good care. Bye-bye. Welcome to 11375. My name is Anita Pierce, and I am your Chief Experience Officer. At 11375, we offer strategic alignment solutions specific to you and your business goals, and also connecting everything with social impact. So if you are looking for a really amazing organization where we help you to focus your strategy and connecting it with social impact, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are on all the social platforms, and you can contact us at 11375. This week, I've been thinking about the importance of social impact and what that looks like specifically for the 11375 family. Social impact for 11375 is not just something that we don't do. It's embedded in our DNA. It's part of our business model. We think and believe that it's really important to combine the art of making money and also being able to connect those specific resources to communities or things that elevate and provide good for the greater good. So for us, it is important that for the success of each project that we include social impact.